There we go. Well, good morning, ladies. This is Unblock Your Brilliance for March 28th, 2017. Very excited to have you here, as always. And today we are going to be talking about unblocking your blind spots. I just got off a call with another client who had this tremendous aha because of the blind spots that she was having about some things. And it's just, I love it when I see that moment when people's eyes go, oh, like they have this whole expansion of themselves. So today I wanted to tune in with you guys to see what are some of the things that are reoccurring themes for you, whether they're in your current situation or in previous situations in your business or your career. And let's kind of pull those apart so we can get at what's the underbelly of the fear or the subconscious pattern that you're creating there. Because, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over, expecting different results. Been there, done that, bang my head against the wall. So, but before we dive in, I just wanted to check in with you guys and say hello and what's going on for you this week. So, Stephanie, why don't you start off first?
Well, I think we'll be listing the house soon. So the move is, we had 2 realtors come, so that's kind of some craziness will be ensuing. And as far as the business, I do have to say I've been sort of lax in some of our responsibilities. I haven't been feeling very well over the last few days, some pain management issues. And so like I'm feeling better today, so I'm getting ramped back up. But that's kind of one of those things for me that keeps kind of becoming a hindrance, is I have to take like a sick day, and then I never cancel on clients or anything, but yeah, it's kind of like a bummer because today I'm like swamped. But otherwise, things are great. I really can't complain.
And so, Stephanie, what the hit that I got as you were talking is that you're having to pause and slow down, because I know you run at very, very high speeds. You're super productive, like more productive than 4 people combined. I think it's amazing. And so it might be, and this is a question, is your body asking you to slow down?
Well, I mean, whenever it happens, I took the whole day off yesterday. If my body says, you're in too much pain, I'm done. I mean, like I said, I never cancel on people. So like if I have something going on, that like a client call or something like that, I don't cancel. I've done it with migraines. I've done it, horrible with the flu, whatever. But as far as anything that can be pushed back, it does get pushed back. But yeah, it kind of annoys me because, I do delegate. Like I have a VA, and now I'm hopefully going to be getting a graphic design person. We're doing a trial run with something next week. So, I do very, very much believe in delegation, but it does sort of annoy me when those times happen. But like you said, I am pretty sure that those happen because I do a little too much. But I don't really see myself as productive unless I'm looking at my bullet journal. I always feel like there's always that's one of the beautiful things about the bullet journal, is you look at it and you're like, oh, wow, I did a lot this week. But at the time, all you're focusing on are the things you didn't accomplish. So, I have used that to my advantage, but I do still have problems with that. Like, I feel like I should be more productive. But, I sort of balance that with the work smarter, not harder approach. So, like, I would much rather delegate to someone who can do a much better job than I can, or try to find some way of optimizing a process than to sit there and waste a bunch of time and effort that I don't really have, that's that I can't really afford to expend on something relatively silly.
Yeah. So that's great that you get that, because a lot of entrepreneurs don't always do that. I know, Tammy, you've come a long way in delegating, because you're really good at a lot of things. And I know you get caught up in I'll just do it myself. And your own injuries over the last 6 months has forced you to change gears. So lessons come in so many packages, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Funny how that works. So, so that's great, Stephanie. And I would have you notice the habit, the habitual way of thinking that you have of, oh, I have to do more, I have to do more, I have to do more. And how is that serving you or not? Because it feels more like a habit than a necessity, because I know you're hecka productive.
Well, I haven't really been I told myself that March is going to be like video month. And because of the setback, I worked with my movie guy, or my video guy, and I got like a storyboard done. I got the script done. I was supposed to start filming this weekend, but I couldn't because I was sick, which involved going to the wig store and all this other stuff. And I was really excited. And then I was like talking to someone else who's working with them, and came to realize hers was nowhere near as complicated as mine. And I was like, well, I really want to do this, but maybe I should try to like do something slightly less complicated. It's involving green screen and like 4 different characters. This is like my first video, and I'm like, it seems a little, maybe
it sounds like a movie.
It does. I'm really excited about it, but I'm just like, with my movie goal, I planned on getting like 2 videos out this month. I've gotten none out. I mean, I better so that I can expedite. Oh, am I locked out?
No, you're okay.
Okay, the video froze. But I'm trying to expedite the process so that I can be better in the future. So that's one of those things, is I have to always look at, I'm not necessarily being as productive as I want to, but I'm learning the process. So that's one thing that I have totally had to change my mindset on, as opposed to my corporate gig. Because it's kind of like, well, you're learning. I'm investing in myself. This guy wasn't cheap. And I didn't make any sales this month because I was focusing on other things. And that's sort of the trade-off. It's like, do you want to be able to provide better content that's more watchable and actually know the process? You can expedite it and get it done in 2 days as opposed to 2 weeks. Or would you rather just flounder around and waste copious quantities of time producing something that looks like crap that you don't feel stands up to your brand? And for me, the latter, the former holds true. In every case, I'd rather have a better quality product while weighing against the better done than perfect methodology.
Yeah, and I get that. And I also hear that you have a really high bar, and that's awesome, right? So that you want to make sure that your brand always has a quality message and a quality look, and it's tight, and that's awesome, right? And don't let perfection be the stumbling block, right?
Exactly. So I'm trying to get that balance. It's like, well, maybe actually, instead of not doing any videos, I could just continue with my weekly Facebook Lives and then work on the other thing, because it's only like 15 minutes out of a day, right? So I'm like, I should probably continue with that. So it's kind of like, I've sort of lost my train of thought right now, but yes.
That's okay. Well, it's just noticing where perfectionism gets in the way of actually doing.
Yes.
So Tammy, I'm curious, has that ever been an issue for you as well?
Oh yeah. Although I've got to tell you, I was listening to you, Stephanie, and I've done over 160 videos on my YouTube channel, and I've never storyboarded once. I wouldn't even know how to begin to storyboard if I wanted to. And I get a lot of great response. I haven't had a ton of views. I've only had about, I think the last time I checked it was around 56,000, which in the YouTube world is not many, but it's enough to get me plenty of clients. So I'm happy with it. I'm not a YouTuber by any stretch of the imagination, but something I learned in the conference I was in this past week was that authenticity and enthusiasm will trump preparation every time. So if you show up on a video as authentic and enthusiastic, it doesn't matter whether, editing could go a long way in post. And if you just are standing in front of the camera and you're explaining yourself and you're giving the knowledge that's in your head, anytime you screw up or lose your train of thought, you can always edit that out later and it just keep rolling. That's all you got to do. But yeah, that's something that perfectionism is something that I truly, truly struggled with in the past. And I've really come to the realization that my 80% as good is still better than everybody else's 100%. So I'm happy with that. So
and that's a really great point, Tammy. I appreciate that, because yeah, I mean, both of you are super productive, and have a very high bar for the work that you do and the quality of the work that you do. And I really commend you for that. And, it's like, birds of a feather kind of thing. So, I hear you totally. So Tammy, how are things been going for you? I know you were at a conference over the last week.
Yeah, I was at a Frank Kern marketing conference, and it really blew my mind. It was outstanding material, and it was all material, no pitch, which was really great. Because you're always wondering at one of these conferences where even though they get your monthly amount, you wonder if they're going to pitch you something else. And there was, on the beginning of the second day, he said, "I'm sorry, I forgot to pitch you guys at the end of yesterday," and he spent all of maybe 45 seconds saying, "Listen, I've got this gig where if you want to pay $18,000, you can spend a day at my house," and then goes on and tells about that. But anyway, what it showed me was the path to the different revenue stream that I have been searching for the longest time, of how to scale my unscalable business. I mean, since it's a service business and it's so high touch and it's so personalized, the only way to scale it is to hire more really well-trained, high-performance coaches, and teaching us was how to basically build a sales funnel from the very beginning to the very end, with the end, in his case, being a high-end continuity program at around $400 a month. And I stood up and asked him, so here's my situation. Here's what we do. Does continuity make sense? And he said, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. You need to hire more coaches. There's an opportunity for me to, and pardon me guys if I'm talking in the abstract, I'm trying to make it applicable to as many people as possible. What I'm trying to do is gain some recurring revenue that I don't have to touch it. I don't have to be involved in it. I don't have to, except on the front end, to build it. Once it's built, it can go on in perpetuity and make me some money. And I think I found that formula. It just took 2 days of him stepping us through every single piece of it. And the interesting thing was that, and I'll leave you guys with this piece, what I got out of it was that what's working for Frank is that he's selling a consulting book. And he wrote the consulting book, actually didn't write it. What he did was he did a 90-minute webinar, which we can all do, and then he had someone transcribe it and edit it for clarity, and that was his book. And he's been selling gangbusters of these books. And he was fulfilling them physically, but he decided last fall to stop fulfilling them physically. In other words, not send them a real book, but actually send them just a PDF. Mm-hmm. And that's what he's been doing. And it hasn't changed his conversion rate any. It hasn't changed really any of the money that he's making, except that he doesn't have to fulfill the book. So it makes it simpler. And you don't have to actually get a book on Amazon. And he uses that book buying as the beginning of his funnel, because he said it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, it matters how many buyers you have. So you start your funnel with all buyers of this. He charges $5.80 for his book, and maybe it was $5.60, and then he has a very significant, because even if There's, for instance, I'm trying to think. If there's not a real fulfillment, what he was saying before was just cover shipping. But now that there's not a real fulfillment, what he's saying is this costs me $21 for every book that I sell. So this is actually a marketing test. And what I'm hoping to do, I mean, he's very blatant about it, out of the book, that you'll want to do business with me in other ways. And then he gives them, you need to walk him through what he talks about in the book, which actually, that free 90-minute training is, surprise, the original webinar that he wrote the book out of. And out of 49,000 people that have bought the book so far, not one person has said, hey, the book is word for word what you say. Probably because most people don't read the book. So that's really the beginning of the funnel for him. And then he just sends them through what he calls a super sequence or a super funnel, where they go in a variety of directions depending. And it's quite fascinating. I don't want to take up the whole time talking about how to do it, but it is quite fascinating. And together as to how I'm going to implement it, then I can share it with you guys, because I think then I can put it into words that are comprehensible in 5 minutes rather than.
Sure, I get it.
It really blew my mind, and it was a different way of thinking.
Yay! So,
yeah,
given all of the great information that you've gotten, has it helped you to see maybe what some of those blind spots have been in your own business? And Stephanie, I would ask you to be thinking about that too. If there are places in your business funnel right now that are not working the way you want them to, that there's a constant kind of hiccup that you keep coming up against.
Well, I'll go for a moment. Something that I noticed that really was a paradigm shift for me in the last week was that up until I broke my shoulder, every time I would try to take 3 or 4 days off to go to a conference or even on vacation, which was very rare, my whole world would blow up as far as the business. Everybody needed my attention. Everybody needed me. And I felt like the answer was, in the past, that the answer was, you can't leave your business. You always have to be a part of it. It always has to be, you have to be inside of it. Mm-hmm. So when I broke my shoulder, there were 3 weeks that I couldn't work, and everything ran smoothly, very seamlessly. I didn't have to hardly say anything to anybody because, of course, when you have a big accident like that, people are understanding and they don't bug you, and then they bug your general manager, which ends up working really well. And then when I had my surgery, I went for 2 weeks, and it was almost as seamless, very few hiccups. But then when I went on this conference/vacation, I started out the conference within 24 hours of starting the vacation. I had 3 very upset clients, very upset, like blowing up the world upset. And it was weird, because I so rarely have upset clients that they have 3 in 24 hours is just unheard of. And I thought something else is going on here. So that usually means the universe is trying to tell me something. God's trying to tell me something. So this time I listened in a different way, and I listened up. I solved the problems. All of the fires are put out. It was a really nasty start to a great week. But I realized the answer is not, I don't think what the universe is trying to tell me is you always have to be in your business. I think the universe is trying to tell me, Tammy, you have got to separate yourself from the day-to-day workings of your business so that this never happens and is always taken care of by other people, and that you can be left to create and do whatever it is that you do best and let everybody else handle the blow-ups. Because it was just too much of a coincidence that I went on vacation, and when we checked in to the bungalow that we were staying at, I was really excited about it, but I get on my email like I shouldn't have, and the whole world was blowing up. So, you know, it just took a whole day of, and yeah, unfortunately, it was the most I'd ever spent on a night staying at a place, you know, outside of your home, staying at a place ever in my life. I really splurged on this place, thought it was going to be the best, and I spent the entire time working from that bungalow in Malibu, trying to fight these fires. And it sucked. It really, really sucked. And I just realized from that, I need to make my business more self-sufficient so that these things don't happen, whether I'm in town or not.
Yes.
And yeah, and that was one of the learnings I wanted to bring to this session when you were talking about blind spots, because I think I realized something that's always been a blind spot for me, which I've always thought, I can't get out of this business. I can't get out of the day-to-day workings of the coaching and the negotiation stuff and everything that happens. Yeah, I can. If I get out of it, none of this is going to happen. And if it happens, it'll be taken care of by somebody else.
Exactly. So that's a huge, huge aha and noticing. And I'm really proud of you for finding a reframe of what I'm sure was a very challenging and harried first day of your vacation.
Yeah.
And I love how the universe always gives us, you know, are you sure you want this? Are you sure you want this? Right? And instead of falling into an old habit of, oh my God, I have to always do things all by myself, or I have to always handle things, like, oh, I can handle it this time, and next time it'll be Clay's opportunity or one of my other coaches' opportunities to manage this situation. And so what I'm seeing is a huge quantum leap from being of having created your own job to being a business owner.
Yeah, exactly.
Two really very different perspectives. And part of it is, you know, how are you training your team to think on their feet without you? Right. And so what I know of you, Tammy, is that in the past, you and hear this from a place of love, right? Because that's where it's coming from. You are a star profile, so you want to be the center of attention, and you wanted people to you, because that would feed that ego and any insecurities that might have been in there. And given the last 6 months and your injuries, you've seen how capable your team is without you, and it didn't kick up any of those limiting beliefs, and you were able to protect yourself and like, oh wow, okay, they can do it without me, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. And reframe is a really good way to put that. That's exactly the way it was. It was reframing the exact same situation that I've had time and time again when I've gone to other cities for conferences or vacations or a combination. That's what happens.
Yeah. So yay on you. And so Stephanie, this is a really great thing for you to witness, so that as you're building your business, you can look at it through a different perspective and continually reminding yourself of, am I building a job for myself, or am I building a business?
Oh, I'm building a business, but I want to sell it in like 5 to 10 years. So I want everything to be autonomous.
There you go.
And that's why, like, I'm less than a year in, and I'm trying to get, like, I mean, I have, like, a VA. I'm trying to get a graphic designer, and probably within the next 6 months, so I won't have to do any of that stuff. But, yeah, I have a plan because I don't want to be stuck in that situation. I want to be able to go for vacations for, like, 3 months at a time. No, they're only contacting me for, like, really important issues.
There you go. That's awesome. So in order to do more of that, what is required? What other structures do either one of you need to put into your business so that you can step away more and more?
Well, for me, like, I definitely need to put more products for passive income in there. Like, I have an evergreen product that I want to get implemented. I have my old course, I should say, that I want to implement as an evergreen course so that I can get passive income from that. I want to create more products so that when I do my Facebook Lives, I mean, if I get, like, also, that's another thing, is getting more people in my Facebook group. So if I buy a $5 product, that's like a ton of money. That's like, what, $5,000? Mm-hmm. So let's say 100 or whatever. But it's one of those things where, like, you have to kind of look at the low-hanging fruit and then kind of weigh that in the future. So I was focusing on the coaching because obviously I needed to get the testimonials and get more practice, or get more people together on the private coaching side so I could create my new group course, which I want to launch later this year. But I still need to start creating more products so that I don't have to rely on that month-to-month coaching, client acquisition BS. I was like, hours spent, like, talking and doing strategy. But at this point, I can't hire anyone to do it because I'm not trusting that they would be able to bring in the clients that I would want to work with. So I need to be able to get more clients so that I can streamline that process so I can turn it over to a salesperson. Cool. So those are my three or four things I need to work on.
Okay. Tammy, how about you?
Yeah. As far as what do I need to work on?
Yeah, what are other structures that you need to put into the business so that you can step away more fully, more often?
Well, I think I need a couple more coaches sooner rather than later. And I'm actually going to be interviewing one on Saturday. And a few people came up to me at the conference after I stood up and explained my story. A few people came up and recommended themselves to me. And it was really interesting. Frank Kern, recommended that I look at Brenda Burchard's High Performance Academy and look at some high performance certified coaches to do it, because what I'm looking for is a performance coach. Mm-hmm. So he said, those people are going to be the best and they are looking for work. I just don't know if I can afford them. So, it's really up in the air as to how much they're willing to work for, and does look at my the amount of money I'm charging, and change the pricing, tweak the pricing a little bit to be able to afford the better coaches. And is it going to be definitely worth it in the end? My husband's worried about price resistance, but every time I raise my prices, I don't have any more price resistance. Excuse me. Than before. So I'm really, I don't think I'm concerned about that, but my cough tells another story. But I would say that some standard operating procedures need to come in. Sorry, Dad, gotta go with my throat.
Sure.
You guys go ahead and talk. Hold on.
Sure. So, as Tammy clears the bugs out of her throat,
yeah,
or the resistance out of her throat.
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah, I am. I think I'm actually laying down because I'm resting today from the long trip. And I think I just got some spit caught in my throat the wrong way. That's what happened.
Can't have that.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Swallowing the wrong way is never a good option.
No.
There's some standard operating procedures. Absolutely, I think would be a great way to get out of your head all of the things that you know inherently to do, and you might even be expecting your team to do, but hasn't necessarily been fully outlined, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
one way of doing that might be to have someone interview you, with a list of, here are the different topics that we need to discuss and that you need to explain to that person so that they can get it out of you and then they can go and write it all up.
That's a great idea. It's a really, really good idea because I didn't, when it comes to not the organizational giant that I wish I was, I'm just not used to writing SOPs. And where do you begin? How do you put it down on paper? And I think just interviewing me, asking a bunch of very to ask. Do you recommend any kind of resource as to what questions you need to ask yourself in order to mine that data, get that information out of you to create the SOPs?
Well, I have someone in mind actually that would probably do a really great job of that. She's really personable. She's a mechanic profile type. She's worked in a variety of different organizations and operations and systematizing things. And so I can introduce the two of you via email, and
Okay.
I think it could be and she's a great writer, so I think it would be a perfect fit, actually. And you could do it. She's in San Diego. Ironically, I know you were just there.
Yeah.
And you guys could do it, over Skype or Zoom or whatever. And that way, because I know you, Tammy, you're also a perfectionist, right? So you're going to want to, let me just get it quite right, and then you'll get caught in that paralysis. So this would be a faster way to get it out of you and to start putting some of those systemized procedures into place.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, send that intro to me if you could at the beginning of next week. Because I'm really, really booked up this week.
Sure.
Coming back. Thank you. Yeah, and I would love to connect with her next week.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
We'll make
Good.
that happen.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Happy dot connecting.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to do. So, Stephanie, what areas, as you've been growing your business in rapid fire sequence, have there been places that have been getting you stumped or stuck or scratching your head about?
Taxes?
Did you connect were you able to connect with Kay Aloha, by the way?
I'm going to connect this week.
Oh,
I was going to connect at the end of last week, but yeah, so that's the main thing is like I have to do my taxes. But most of the rest of it, I learned how to do online courses. I've had like a lot of experience in corporate America. I was a business systems analyst. So like I can usually figure out what I need to learn, and I don't have a problem investing in myself. I learned about the sales aspect. I totally did not know how to do that, so I'm doing better with that. I have a book outline done, and so I'm going to start recording, like speaking into my phone for the chapters, and then just transcribing that. So then hopefully I'll get that done in a couple weeks, 3 weeks maybe. And the video thing, because one thing for clarification for the video thing is I really had, because I was doing basically what I'm sorry, what was the name of the other person that's on the call? It's not showing up on the...
Tammy?
Tammy or Tammy?
Yeah.
Tammy Cabell.
Oh, okay. So like, first, like I was just kind of speaking extemporaneously, and then my Facebook Lives and stuff, but then I wanted to do like professional kind of like really like short videos, like 1 to 2 minutes, that are kind of really engaging and grab attention. And I had no idea how to do that. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm learning now. Because like the other stuff isn't that bad, like picking a topic. But I do have problems with picking topics sometimes for my Facebook Lives.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
I mean, those are...
Tell me more about your intentions for your Facebook Live and the frequency and the different messaging that you've been utilizing for that.
Well, I actually stopped for the last couple of weeks because I was originally anticipating doing those other short videos, and I thought I was going to take more time, and then I was just like lazy and just decided I didn't really feel like doing this right now. I have to put on makeup and a nice shirt. It's too much effort.
Damn that makeup.
Looks like I have to cough now too.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness.
But so I was doing one Facebook Live each for a little bit on in my group and on my personal page. The group page one was always scripted. Like, I shouldn't say scripted. I wrote down bullet points. And then like 90% of the time, the one on my personal page was not. I think I only did like 1 or 2 that actually had written down the bullet points for.
Mm-hmm.
And, usually they're sort of the group ones are usually along the lines of questions people had asked. And the ones that were on my personal page were things that I just was, moved to speak about. But that happens very rarely, and I don't want to rely on inspiration. So I started writing down like topics in my bullet journal for things to speak about. And I had my VA write up some 2-minute scripts, which I like eviscerate really and like turn them into like totally different topics. So I'm building up like a log of things that I can just pull from, so then I can do my every Thursday. I can do twice and not have to be freaking out about, I have to come up with 2 different topics every week.
Cool. And so what, in the doing of that, what have you noticed, and what is it helping you generate?
Well, I mean, it was helping with people booking calls, because when I was calls a day when I was bothering to before the whole move situation. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it made it really easy. Like, I just log in and there'd usually be like 1 or 2 people are like, hey, can I book a call with you? And I'm like, sure. I just send it off. It's like they're coming to me. It was really easy. Mm-hmm. And then in the group, it was kind of like helping people with specific questions, but I wasn't getting the same it was really actually annoying. Because, I mean, it was usually the same couple of people that were participating, because I think that they've been trained to expect, like, tips and tricks, but not to be engaging mm-hmm. with each other or to interact with each other. And so it was kind of mostly people, I think, were expecting that I was going to give them, like, here are 3 things that you can do. Here's 5 things that you can do. Here's the thing. Here are the steps that you need to take. And I don't want it to be like that. So I'm trying to figure out how to make it more engaging without making it quite so informational, like where here's step 1, step 2, step 3. Because people like my Facebook Lives in the group. I mean, they private message me, but like hardly anybody would actually like them or comment on them, except for the person that posted the original question. And so, I mean, people were, how they are, the group mentality, the herd mentality, mm-hmm. where like you go there and you see like 5 people liked it, then you'll like it too. But if nobody's liked it and it's been up for 3 days, then you're not going to like it, even if you actually liked it. So I'm like, well, yeah. It was giving me a complex, to be perfectly honest.
Okay. Got it. So you get to notice that and like, okay, what am I making up about this group behavior?
Yes.
What's the name of your group, Stephanie? Is it public or private?
It's private. It's Level Up Your Career. There's like a the number sign in front of the Level Up. Mm-hmm. And Level Up is all one word. There's someone else that has the same name, basically, but it's for millennials.
Oh, okay.
And mine has more members in it.
Okay.
If you're looking for them, so you can see which one is which. I'm not saying that for bragging purposes. I'm just saying.
No, I know. There's I have my Wonder Woman Unite group on Facebook. and there's like 2 or 3 other Wonder Women Unite, but mine has an exclamation point. So
There you go. You have to have that identifier.
yeah, exactly. So, okay. So you're doing your videos and you're getting the responses that you're expecting, that you're wanting, or do you want to amp that up further?
Well, I mean, I do want to amp it up further, but I think the problem is I can't say that I like doing them. I mean, I was just like, I don't necessarily like doing them until I'm on them. It's kind of like the 13-year-old that doesn't want to go on the family trip until they actually get there, and then they start having fun, and the parent looks at them and they have to pretend like they hate it.
Right.
So that's kind of like that's how I usually approach leaving the house and Facebook Live videos. So
A wee bit of an introvert, even though you're.
I would much rather just come up with I love coming up with the ideas for stuff. Like my video guy, like we had one meeting and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no experience with this, so just tell me stuff. And the next time I'm like, all right, so I came up with this theme and I think this would be cool. And he's like, this was amazing. And I think that's how I got into this thing. It was so complicated because he's like, this is a great idea. And he doesn't realize I have never made a video like this before. It's like I have the creative capacity. I just don't feel like doing the work.
Yeah. So you're a perfect CEO.
Yes, exactly. I'd be the perfect CEO. I would come up with all the ideas and then just don't bother me during tea time. Outside of that, let me know when the emergencies pop up, and I'll just come in for the weekly meeting and tell you the cool stuff I want you to work on next. Exactly.
Yeah, just for your information, Tammy, Stephanie's a creator profile, so you guys are Tammy's a star profile, so she's one step to the right of you, and I'm a creator profile as well. So we're all like, "Ooh, sparkly bits, ideas! Yes, let's make some."
Yeah. Implement it. Ooh.
Follow through. Oh, wait, look, sparkly bit.
Shiny.
Yes. We're all very well versed in sparkly bit syndrome.
Yeah.
And so congratulations to you both for building up your team and getting the right people on your team to create the follow through and the implementation of the various things that you're dreaming up that you do so well, right? So I'm curious, and I want to hear from both of you. What's your vision for your company in the next 2 years? Stephanie.
My vision for my company, I want to be making well into the actually 7 figures and be on the verge of figuring out how to sell it and starting a new I mean, I don't necessarily want to be like, I'm trying to make this to sell it. But I mean, I know that in like 5 to 6 years, I'm going to want something new. So it's like, I really want to build this up, and I want to build it up professionally. I want to build it up so it's actually helping people and providing a service. I'm not saying like the shyster, I just want to make as much money as I can. But I want to make sure that it's like always building upon the heels of success from the previous, success, and making it something so that it provides tons and tons and tons of value. And then in 2 years, I can be evaluating how I can be making my next step to quote unquote greatness with this project. So then I can kind of like start planning how I want to do my next project. Because I'd have been into this for 3 years at that point. So I know I only have about 2 years left. And that's pretty critical if I want to get to the point where I want to be at.
Great.
In my future.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
I mean, it's like, I want to have coaches under me. I want this to be completely autonomous. I want it to be like basically self-sustaining. I want there to be tons of products that are like low-level, mid-level, and high-level coaching products. I want it to be able to fit the needs of everyone, because my main goal, and I mean, just generally, like, it feeds my soul helping people to find out that they have power, they have control, and they have the ability to have a job that doesn't make them miserable. I want them to find joy and fulfillment in their careers. And the more people I can help to do that, I mean, that's just a win-win for everybody. Absolutely everybody.
Absolutely. And I'm smiling because we all essentially do the same thing, but in different ways. So
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Cool. All right. Tammy, what about you?
Well, restate the question again. As far as where do I want to be in a year?
What's your vision for your business in 2 years?
2 years. 2 years. Okay. I think the 7-figure level is attainable if we stay on the same course that we have been since the beginning of the year, we are probably looking at between $500,000 and $600,000. So I think that doubling that in 2 years is not going to be that big of a stretch, and I think it's attainable. And I think since we last talked, I've met in person with a gentleman who's going to help me attain that and actually help me grow my business to 5 million within 5 years.
Wow.
But he's the one that said, he's the one that said what you have right now is not scalable. I mean, this guy is coming from HP. He just was let go from HP because, and this is insider information, so don't post this immediately, but HP is getting ready to get rid of about 30% of their staff total.
Ouch.
They're really downsizing. Yeah, so he was part of the upper echelon. He was responsible for a $2.4 billion business area, which he grew from 1.7 or 1.6, I think, million or billion. So he's grown it 600 or 700 million in 3 years. So he knows how to grow businesses, and I know how to start fledgling businesses, and he's trying to start his own. So he's helping me, and I'm helping him, and so he's got some really good ideas, but he said what I have isn't scalable. So I've got to find different business models to add to what I do, and also to help serve, like Stephanie was saying, high, medium, low. I'd like to be able to serve millennials just getting out of college. I'd like to be able to serve, but I've always been told you can't do everything for everybody. You've really got a niche, and the riches are in the niches. But I think with products, it doesn't have to be that way. You can create a product funnel and introduce products to the right, speak their language and communicate to them effectively, and get them from point A to point B, which is where it's all about. From where they're at right now, which is in pain, to getting out of pain, which is the exodus of pain.
Absolutely. And I would agree with you.
A variety of different markets. And I think, you think so?
Yeah, no, I would totally agree that, while your bread and butter is working with six-figure income earners to help them leapfrog their career to the next level, having those different funnels or different product lines that you create and put out there for people at other tiers, so that you're meeting those market demands to get people up to that upper echelon where you can work with them directly, right? So, and this goes for both of you with what you're doing. I've got this career book and webinar for 18 to 24-year-olds. I've got this career book for those who are in their career but still early on, from 25 to 35. And then I've got this super offering from those who are 35 and up, right? And they all have different price points, for sure. And you could have different coaches at different levels as well. And those coaches would have different pay points as well. So if you got someone who's coaching millennials, it's a different type of person. And a different perspective, because I would say having someone who is a millennial to coach millennials is going to be a better energetic match, right? Versus the people that you're coaching from where you're at in your career and your perspective. And so, creating those multiple tiers is a way to create those other passive income streams like Frank has done. And, you guys are certainly capable and have tons of great ideas in order to do that. So it's just a matter of systematizing and implementing and, creating that follow-through step, which for all of us is not necessarily our strong point.
And I think one of the beauties of having the multiple tiers, especially with what we do, is the fact you get somebody who's a millennial that's fresh out of college, you teach them how to find a great job, they get a decent job, then who are they going to come back to when they want to reach the next level? You, because you've already established trust. And then when they get to the point where they're mid-level management, who are they going to want to go to learn how to be the CEO of their own company?
Mm-hmm.
You, because you've already taught them. So it's like you're basically grooming them for the next tier, the next level up, because you've established value and you've established authority and you've shown them through their own personal journey that you're giving them that transformation that they've been craving and don't know how to achieve on their own.
Absolutely. And the idea that just popped in, and this, I may be picking up what you guys are already doing, but creating a low price point membership, like a monthly membership of, $20, maybe it's $19.99, maybe it's $29.99, right? Where you're giving them that ebook, that webinar of how to launch their career, for example, and then the monthly information that they're getting as part of that membership is continually educating them and amplifying them to get to that next level, so that when they are ready, then, here's the next level of service offering that you guys have, which is now, $500 a month perhaps, or it's a, $5,000 chunk of information. It's a seminar, week-long, whatever, right? And then you've got the platinum, which is the $15,000, $20,000 product. Apparently we're all having clarity issues when we're talking. This is hilarious. Oh my gosh. As we've been talking about ideas, each one of us has had to clear our throats.
That's funny.
So you can look at those different membership options and price point options for the different passive income. Because I know, Tammy, you've already got a ton of content that you could just repackage. And Stephanie, you're very quickly creating a ton of content. So it's a matter of pulling back and looking at what you've got and how you can repurpose that for various folks.
I mean, honestly, for you, and one of the things that I do, I don't know if it'll help you, Cami, is, so you said you had like 60-something YouTube videos?
160.
160. Have you translated those into like blog posts or articles?
Oh yes. As a matter of fact, now I haven't done any since I broke my shoulder. However, I was repurposing those into Facebook posts into a Facebook group that I've got about 6,000 members of. I've got it on LinkedIn posts, which are now called articles, and they're it's really a summary of the main points or the high points of each of the videos, followed by a link to the video. So I'll have them and then click on here to watch the video that gives you more information. So yeah, I send out a newsletter to my private email list. I've got, which is only about 2,400 people now, and then putting it out on LinkedIn, putting it out on the Facebook, and then of course it starts with the YouTube video. So I've been repurposing that. That's a good idea, though. I wholly recommend that to anyone who's doing any kind of videos, is to repurpose the content into other areas.
Mm-hmm. Makes your life so much easier, especially when you want to try to create like upsells or opt-ins. Just a checklist containing some of the information. People would love that. I mean, it's like you have a video that left.
True.
Create a checklist, and then you get all those people on your email list, and you really spent like 10 minutes maybe to like make it look pretty.
Yeah, it's a great idea. People do like checklists and blueprints and toolkits and anything that you can give them that they can consume in 5 minutes or less.
Mm-hmm. And give them little wins. Like, don't make it too like. that in 5 minutes and feel any sense of transformation, they're excited.
Yeah.
And
Like,
the biggest
ooh,
fan.
it's that instant hit of dopamine. Like, ooh, look what I made. Wow. Okay. What else can I have? Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
those things. It's more of that subconscious stuff that we're aiming for creating those brain hacks, right? The dopamine and the serotonin hits that people get, because it's that creates the unconscious loyalty. Oh, Stephanie made me feel good. I'm going to go back there, right? And it's driven by our amygdala, but it's back in there. It's not in your prefrontal that you're thinking about, like, oh, in that particular way, but that's the chemical reaction that happens, and you want to spark more of those chemical reactions.
Yeah. True.
Cool. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys, and we talked briefly about this, I think a few weeks ago, maybe, but I want to send you, I have a 90-day sprint plan kind of format that you guys can utilize to get out of your head some of the ideas that you're doing and create your 90, 30, and 7-day plans. And you may already be doing this, but I wanted to share the tool with you so you have it, and it includes some different checklists that go with it to be thinking about, like, oh, okay, what are the next steps that I need to be doing? So I will email that out to everybody. And if that's something that you want to utilize, then fill it out and send it back to me. That way I can help keep you on track, with some accountability, and we can share those out with each other in the group to keep us leapfrogging. Right?
Right. Sounds good.
Cool. Okay. Let's see. We are here on the 28th. Our next call is going to be on April 11th. So we have the 11th and the 25th for the month of April will be our next calls. Any questions from our conversation today that are just right on the tip of your tongue that you got to get out?
I learned a lot this call.
Great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, fantastic. All right, well, I will be getting the recording up here in the next day or so, posted to the membership page on my website. And if you have any ahas that are coming up, please feel free to share those too in the Facebook group, and we will continue the conversation as always.
Can I ask you something quickly offline?
Yeah, sure. Let me just turn off the recording and we'll go from there.